But it was the attitude of lack of caring and concern.
It's been weeks since flooding forced a group of seniors out of their homes. Tonight, only on News 3, a family opens up about the emotional toll flooding had on their sister. Plus, an unusual theft causes more flooding in Madison, forcing the closure of a popular trail. And it's bye-bye to the Buckies. A summer-long mission to search for Bucky Badger is coming to an end. Now one woman is fighting time. Her mission tonight at 6.
This is News 3 at 6.
It has been nearly 3 weeks since flooding caused dozens of senior citizens to leave their apartments. Tonight, there is still a question of when they'll be able to move back home. Rose Schmidt shares how these last few weeks are weighing heavily on these residents and their families. Rose?
Eric, the time away from home caused an unbelievable amount of stress for some of the 100 displaced seniors. The timeline of when they'll be able to return keeps changing. In the meantime, they've been staying at shelters or with friends and family, since many of them are disabled and have limited income. And for some of them, the stresses just keep piling up. It has been a tough week for Denise Karras and Lynette Rasmussen.
I needed you here beside me.
Their sister Linda passed away Friday. She was 64 years old.
Linda was very much an advocate for anyone who was disabled.
News 3 interviewed her just 2 weeks ago after she and more than 100 other residents were evacuated from the Prairie Park senior apartments because flooding destroyed the building's electrical system. Everyone who lived there was 55 or older.
I'm proud that I am trying to fight to maintain my independence for as long as I can, and that I can pay for my own way. And this is not helping.
After she was evacuated, Linda had to stay at Denise's house in Evansville, where she did not have the special bed and toilet seat she had at Prairie Park. She and others tried for several days straight to get belongings out of their apartments, but were unsuccessful.
We feel that between the stress and the inconvenience, the lack of facilities that she was living with, that it contributed to her death. And we're quite convinced of that.
We reached out to Prairie Park for comments.
I need to ask you to look now.
Okay. They referred us to the corporate communications team.
We're pretty upset with Prairie Park.
Linda's sisters still need to get the rest of her stuff from her apartment so they can plan her memorial service.
She tried to do good for people and make people happier.
They remember her as a caring and loving person who once worked as a devoted hospice coordinator and helped set up programs for grieving families and the elderly.
It seemed like the force of her personality was pretty strong. She was really a wonderful person, and we're going to miss her just terribly.
Yes.
The goal was for people on the first floor to move back in today, but the electric company's installation of the meters is taking longer than expected, so the earliest they'll be able to return home is tomorrow. People who live on the second and third floors will have to wait until the elevator works or something is installed to make the top floors accessible for people with disabilities. And that could take up to a week.
Boy, just unbelievable they've gone through there, and our thoughts are with Linda's family. It's a tragedy. Rose Schmidt in studio. Rose, thank you. Now, if you have not submitted flood damage reports already, call 211 to do so or contact your county's emergency management director. Now, these damage reports will help the state determine which county should be part of a federal disaster declaration after a final report is compiled next week and then submitted by the governor to FEMA for federal assistance.
Is a major flood event. It's been a major disaster for the state. We know there's a lot of economic impact to communities. We know the hardships this has put on families. And so, again, we're trying to do the best job we can, make sure we're thorough, make sure we're getting accurate information from those damage assessments.
In the meantime, they say be patient. It takes a while for such a filing. They say keep cleaning up any damage and debris you have on your property. Document everything with receipts and photographs of your damage. And after all our rain the past month or so, we're happy with this streak of dry weather. Let's check in with meteorologist Dana Fulton. Dana?
Thanks, Eric. It has been beautiful outside for the last several days. The sunshine, only good news for everyone cleaning up and trying to dry up just a little bit. Right now, we have a mostly clear sky. Overall, just a few clouds today, but no major clouds popping up for us. As we look over the last several hours, downtown was wonderful. I hope you had the chance to get outside and enjoy the weather just a little bit. If not, I encourage you to do so sometime this evening. No rain threats for us in central or southern Wisconsin. Temperature-wise, we're close to 79 in Madison right now. Same in Mineral Point. Just a few degrees warmer from where we were at this time yesterday. About a 2-degree jump for us. And that trend, of course, we've been watching over the last few days, just steadily climbing every single day. The same goes for tomorrow. We're looking at highs in the upper 70s, close to 80 yet again, with just a few clouds in the sky, but otherwise planning on plenty of sunshine for our Thursday. Most of the focus across the country right now still on Hurricane Florence. We're going to take a closer look at that track and, of course, the rest of our forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana, and that forecast has helped with the flooding. Lake Monona has now dropped 5 inches in the last week, but the water does remain a bit high. Monona city leaders are encouraging residents to keep those sandbags in place, and the lake is still 5 inches above the 100-year flood level. City leaders also there are reminding people who have experienced flood damage to complete that 211 Wisconsin disaster report. You can find a link to it on our website, channel3000.com. Madison police are looking for whoever stole pumps along the Capital City Trail last night. The lack of pumps caused that trail to close since it was flooded with 8 inches of water. Amy Reed joins us live from there right now. Amy, what happened there?
Yeah, Eric, the water is mostly dried up now, so the path is back open. But this is a very busy stretch for commuters who would have been detoured this morning because of the high water. Now, we noticed it looks like this city has reinstalled small pumps to get rid of the water that flooded the path earlier, so this water isn't causing too much of a disruption now, but the city is still looking for who did this. They said they're hoping to use security footage from Monona Terrace, which is right next to the worst of this morning's flooding. The pumps cost them about $1,000 in total. Now they have to go buy more to replace the stolen pumps. They hope this doesn't become a recurring problem.
We're looking at what we can do to secure them better, and certainly the police department's aware of this now, so they'll be checking in on them more frequently. So hopefully this won't happen again.
Overall, Rob said the city and the people inside have responded very well during this flooding, which he said makes it all the more disappointing that someone would do this. Now, if you know anything about where these pumps might be, the city and the police would love your help. They ask that you contact them, give them a call if you have any information. Back to you.
Amy Reed, live downtown Madison. Amy, thank you. Some Culver's restaurants in Wisconsin will donate a part of their sales September 20th to flood victims. The money will go to the American Red Cross Wisconsin Flood and Storm Relief Fund. Participating restaurants will also collect personal donations. McDonald's workers in Milwaukee are going on strike next week. They're part of workers in 10 other cities taking part in a one-day strike. They want to pressure management to take stronger steps against on-the-job sexual harassment. This video shows a previous time where workers gathered on this very same issue. McDonald's defended its anti-harassment efforts, saying it has specific policies designed to prevent sexual misconduct at its restaurants. Popular fabric store in Madison is closing next month. Gay Feather Fabrics on Willie Street has been in business for nearly 2 decades. The owner says that opening the store was a dream come true, but she is ready to explore something different and do something new.
I opened this store 19 years ago during my midlife crisis, and I realized my dream of opening a fabric store then. I feel it's the right decision, and of course all my best customers are coming in and saying goodbye, so I feel like it's sort of a neighborhood wrap-up.
Virginia plans to stay active. She'll just now focus on private sewing lessons, sewing retreats, and helping out local 4-H clubs on sewing projects. Gay Feather officially will close October 31st. Madison takes top honors in the best tasting water competition. This competition held this morning at Monona Terrace. Judges got to sample different tap waters from around the state, judging on things like taste, smell, and appearance. This is the 33rd year for that competition. A Wisconsin man hopes his accomplishment will inspire others. Chad Esker completed 7 Ironman distance triathlons in 7 consecutive days across 7 Wisconsin locations. Each day, he swam more than 2 miles, biked for 112, and ran over 27, making it a total of nearly 1,000 miles. His mission is to inspire others to get out and challenge themselves to live a happier, healthier life. Ironman Wisconsin here in Madison last weekend marked Esker's 7th and final race. Well, one area woman completing a different kind of race, one against the clock. She's on a mission to show her love for Bucky. Her goal next at 6. The summer of Bucky is coming to an end. Early tomorrow morning, all of those Bucky on Parade statues will begin being taken down. Jamie Perez shares some of the crazy stories to come from this year's statue extravaganza. She joins us now at studio. Jamie.
And I am so excited to share some of these crazy stories. As of today, more than 2,000 people have claimed to have found all 85 statues this summer. They've given out 60,000 maps to people, and there's more than 11,000 hashtags online related to this entire Bucky sprint. Now, today I spoke with the project organizer who says some pretty amazing stories have come out of this event, some romantic and some hard to believe. Madison sure knows how to show the love for Bucky the Badger. Have you seen all of them? Well, on Wisconsin, Sarah Lavinger saw all 85 in one day.
We started at 9:30 and it took 10 hours.
10 hours plus some organization and an itinerary and a map.
We knew they were taking all the Buckies away today, so we wanted to just get out and try to accomplish this.
It took 3 stops for coffee along the way, but they did it.
We were all super sore the next day, but it was definitely worth it.
So worth it, they said they would do it all over again if they could.
We're gonna miss them.
Yeah. I hope they go to good homes.
Yes.
If somebody wants to fund us to buy one of them.
Yeah, we would buy one.
Sarah's story is just one of many stories that came out of this. The first is how it all started.
Our community loves Bucky, and we love art, so it was a great mixture of how do you put together a mascot that everyone loves and create a community event for all to enjoy all summer long.
A project 2 years in the making, the summer of 2018 brought it to life.
It's been like a dream come true. I mean, we've been working on this project for so long, and we really hoped that the community would embrace it the way that they did, but they did it at a whole new level.
A whole new level, like Sarah and her friends who saw all of them in one day.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is. But wait, there's more.
We had a couple who actually got engaged at one of the statues, and they had seen all of them, and at their 85th statue, he got down on one knee and proposed to his girlfriend. We have a woman who is a cancer survivor herself, and she put it her quest by her 60th birthday to find 60 of the statues. She's now found all 85, but the coolest part about that is she dressed up like all of them.
Such a success with the story behind every one of them, on top of the stories made by Bucky's visitors. Will they do this again next year?
That's the million-dollar question if we're going to do this again. Of course we'd love to do it in the future, especially for the love we've had. It definitely will not be coming back next year in the next couple years, but it might be something down the road, 5-10 years, we'll do it again.
Say bye to Bucky for now. At least he made it a great way to get out and explore the city this summer.
Yeah, we knew there'd be a lot of love for Bucky and having him out on parade, but what we saw was beyond our wildest expectations.
There's going to be a Bucky on Parade finale party on Saturday, September 29th to celebrate the project's success over the summer. That's at the Kohl Center. Tickets for that are still available, and so far they've already sold 55 of the statues, leaving 30 available for auction. So what I was thinking was one of us could go to that auction, buy a Bucky, and then have it,
put it in the newsroom.
Put it in the newsroom, and then it can just photobomb all of our shots.
This has been such a big thing all summer. People have been chasing these Buckies.
Huge talker, yeah.
It's been great. It'd be great to see it again. I'd love to be at that Kohl Center event. You see all of them in one place, right?
Find him at the auction.
That should be very cool. Jamie, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, it is being called the storm of a lifetime. We're tracking Hurricane Florence, and the storm is also impacting our weather a bit here in Wisconsin. Your first alert forecast up next. Millions of people living in the Carolinas and Virginia are trying to get inland before Hurricane Florence makes landfall. National Weather Service calling Florence, quote, the storm of a lifetime. Florence predicted to hit the Carolinas by Friday and then stall along the coast, bringing hurricane conditions for 24 hours or more. With a slight decrease in the maximum winds, the National Hurricane Center now puts the storm at a Category 3, but says it's still forecast to be extremely dangerous when it hits land. The view from space shows the massive size of this hurricane, which could affect more than 5 million Americans. The Red Cross of Wisconsin sent 3 of its emergency vehicles. 27 Red Cross volunteers from Wisconsin are already helping with the response there. Of course, it always tends to have a little bit of an impact on what happens to our weather here as well.
Absolutely. Now, the good news for us, it seems like most of that moisture is going to stay in the southeast. There's just nothing that's going to lift it back into the Midwest and soak us. And that's going to be good for us. It's bad for the folks down there because it looks like it's going to stay and stall over the Carolinas for quite a bit. So those rainfall totals are expected to just climb. As Eric mentioned, it is a Category 3 hurricane, still a very strong hurricane, a major hurricane for that area with sustained winds at about 120 miles per hour. It's going to continue to move west-northwest up towards the North Carolina coast, move slowly by Friday afternoon. We're expecting landfall along the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The storm has been curving northwest, but as it gets closer to landfall, it's actually going to take a little southwest dive towards South Carolina and then move further inland, weakening rapidly as it hits that terrain. Hurricanes grow so large because of the warm water and no land to impact them. And then, of course, once they get on land, they weaken quite a bit and very rapidly for that. And, of course, the storm expected to just soak the Carolinas into Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky, all going to see rainfall and quite a bit of wind over the next few days. Tropical storm strength winds, that's over 40 miles per hour. That's the probability of seeing it. Going to happen for us along the coast or for folks in the Carolinas as you go further west. That chance decreases, of course, as the storm weakens as it heads inland. Wind one factor, rain the other. The North Carolina coast expected to see storm surge. That's when the sea is pushed up against the coastline. Rainfall totals anywhere from 15 to 25 inches likely, with some isolated areas certainly could see even more. It looks like just with the latest run here, the rainfall totals have shifted even further south into South Carolina to see more rain accumulation, 3 to 6 inches possible there for central South Carolina. Overall, they're expecting quite a bit of rain. Those hurricane force winds, catastrophic rain, storm surge, life-threatening flash flood, all of these storm threats continuing over the next few days as this hurricane moves inland, and of course the repercussions afterwards. You have the Atlanta and the Charlotte airport right there, and they could be seeing significant travel delays throughout the southeast this weekend and even into next week. Now, the good news here, we're seeing the peak of our hurricane season right now, and then things start to back out, of course, as the sea surface temperatures cool down. Hurricanes form with that warm water, and as they cool down, we just don't get the bigger storms. Back here at home, we have a much better picture for the weekend. Almost completely clear today, just a few clouds in the sky with our visible cloud track. We've really looked fantastic. We don't have anything moving in anytime soon, staying fairly mild as our high pressure is sending a little southern breeze in our direction. Our next opportunity for rain well off to the west. We'll stay mild overnight with a southern breeze helping our temps warm up just a little more overnight. Our dew points also will stay just a little higher for the next few days. A few clouds tomorrow, but a very similar forecast to what we had today, and that's all good news. Right now, things look fantastic outside. Sunrise or sunset is right around the corner. We hit a high of 81 this afternoon, well above average. We're currently sitting right at 79, so we're slowly starting to cool down. But that dew point creeping into the mid-50s, so it is getting a little more humid outside. Overnight lows in the mid-50s, mostly clear. Tomorrow, we're close to 80 yet again, partly sunny, but still very, very mild. As far as your 7-day forecast is concerned, we get into the weekend. We have sunshine, temps in the 80s. Our next chance for rain will be knocking on the door for Tuesday, and that will cool us down quite a bit. Towards the middle of next week, we'll be back close to 70 for our afternoon high temperatures.
It's the most asked question of the week. Will Aaron Rodgers play Sunday against the Vikings? We'll hear from number 12 in sports. Aaron Rodgers says his knee feels a little better each day, but he didn't practice today. He worked with the rehab group. When Rodgers was asked if he needs to practice to play Sunday against the Vikings, Rodgers said, nope. Head coach Mike McCarthy described Rodgers' status today as a day with a sprained left knee. Other than that, of course, information pretty hard to come by from Rodgers and McCarthy as the countdown continues to Sunday's noon start time against the Vikings at Lambeau Field.
You hate that you're dealing with something like this in the first week, but you feel similar to this week 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, if you're fortunate enough to stay out the entire season, you're going to get banged up at some point. Obviously, I've dealt with, foot injuries, calf injuries, hamstring, lower extremities, and played with it. So hopefully I'll be able to be back out there Sunday.
Obviously, there's the hope of playing, and so obviously he'll be given the whole week to get ready. So, we'll take it day by day, and we'll learn as we go.
Rodgers wasn't the only Packers star who missed practice today. Wide receiver Devontae Adams is dealing with a shoulder injury. He says he expects to play Sunday, but again did not practice today. Well, congratulations to Richard Whiting of Portage, who was our first weekly winner in the Channel3000.com Pro Pigskin Pick'em Challenge. Richard wins a $100 gift certificate from Christie's Landing on Lake Wabisa. You can enter our contest by making your picks on Channel3000.com. Here's some of our picks this week. Packers are 1-point favorites over the Vikings if Rodgers plays, but we're picking the Vikings. Also, we've got the Bears looking to recover. They're playing the Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks Monday night. And how about Jacksonville over the Patriots? If you think you can outsmart us, make your picks at Channel3000.com. Go to the contest section. Badger volleyball team plays at Marquette Friday. You'd expect a fair number of Badger fans to show up in Milwaukee, but last weekend in Texas, Kelly Sheffield and the Badgers were pleasantly surprised that a few hundred Badger fans showed up in their two matches in Waco and Denton, Texas.
There's a lot of kids that just watch on TV and has become fans. I don't know how many kids that came up and said they started watching when they were real little. They became Lauren Carlini fans, and then they were Kelly Bates fans, and now they're Tiffany Clark fans, and there were a ton of that. I'm guessing they would all have their own stories of how far the Badger outreach is. It's incredible.
Our Prep Mania High School football game of the week Friday night features 3-1 Sun Prairie at 3-1 Verona in an important Big 8 conference matchup. We're live on TVW and Channel3000.com Friday night at 7 with Sun Prairie at Verona. Last night we told you about the volleyball match with Reedsburg playing at Waunakee. The fans contributing money to help out some of the people in the Reedsburg area who have been dealing with the flooding the last few weeks. Well, Waunakee Athletic Director Aaron May reports they raised $1,096.65 for the Sauk County Disaster Relief Fund last night. Congratulations. Nice job by the Waunakee Volleyball Boosters and the Reedsburg and Waunakee volleyball teams. A lot of other teams in the Badger North have also helped out. They're good folks.
Seen a lot of great stories coming out of teams helping with sandbag efforts, and we're keeping an eye on that hurricane down there.
Absolutely. Hurricane Florence still an influence for the East Coast. For here, though, we're going to stay nice and clear at least for the next several days.
All right, Dana, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6. See you back here tonight at 10.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.